Boxing Truth here, back with another video. The Canelo sweepstakes, the Canelo Alvarez saga. Man, it's really annoying, especially the past few years. Ever since lately, just trying to find out Canelo's next opponent. It's always becoming now a dragged out process, a really annoyance to deal with. The whole world wants to fight Canelo, 20 guys being called out, being named over the course of the past practically the whole year. It's been a regular occurrence now for Canelo build up for his next fight. A lot of rumors and drama surrounding his next opponent, and unfortunately this is going to drag out even further. It's most likely going to drag into August, maybe even mid-August, to the point where the media goes crazy and just wondering, when the fuck is Canelo, who the fuck is Canelo going to fight? But that's what's going to happen. It's going to drag out for as long as possible. I'm not sure if Golden Boy Canelo are on the same page when it comes to money. Gomez has already insisted that Canelo is going to take a sizable, significant pay cut if he's going to fight in September. Since there's no crowds, don't know how they're going to do some of the fights that are being discussed. Just today, Eddie Hearn said there's discussions about a possible Callum Smith fight. Just another of many regarded opponents for Canelo for his proposed September return. Who is Canelo's next opponent going to be? Honestly, I think it's going to be an in-house fight. I really find it hard to believe that Callum Smith, who turned down a reported $8 million payday to fight Canelo, the same purse that was offered to Billy Joe Saunders for the fight that was scheduled for May, he accepted. Callum Smith did not. So now all of a sudden, he's going to come back to the negotiating table to take significantly a lot less if he's going to fight Canelo in September, because there's going to be no crowd, there's going to be no gate revenue. So he's looking at least a half of what he was offered before, possibly even less than half. So I find it hard to believe that Callum Smith is all of a sudden just going to take less than what was offered to him in the first place for a proposed Canelo showdown. All of a sudden he's just going to fight him for not even close to what he was offered before. I find it hard to believe. Don't see that fight being made. Preliminary discussions. It's really all about money, like Eddie Hearn says. Golden Boy are going to go with the cheapest opponent possible. That's why there's some certain names being discussed, but at the same time, the zone has to approve the opponent. Deryochenko was offered the fight because the zone approved of him. I don't think the zone is going to approve of a Jason Quigley or a Toriano Johnson. A David Lemieux, that's actually a possibility. Honestly, I think he's the guy that's going to get the fight. In-house fight, not as expensive. It's a perfect fight to do behind closed doors. It's a decent opponent. Canelo beats David Lemieux. We all know that, but let's just get the ball rolling on the announcement of the next opponent. I seriously doubt it's going to be a top fight, a top opponent like a Callum Smith or a Dimitri Bivol or a David Benavidez. It's most likely going to be an in-house opponent. David Lemieux fits the perfect prescription. He's got some name recognition. He's a tailor-made opponent. He's an in-house fight. He's a Golden Boy promoted fighter. He's an affordable fight. I'm just tired of the drag-out process, man. It's becoming Mayweather-esque. Canelo is just prolonging this shit. Shouldn't take that damn long to, name a goddamn opponent. Just the drag-out process is very annoying, right to the very last minute, and this ain't going to be no different. Most likely the opponent's not going to be announced until sometime in August. People are most likely going to moan about it. because it's not going to be a top 68 guy. Most likely won't even be someone outside of the promotional stable. But, we all waiting for the big fight in boxing. Top Rank has been holding it down. They put on some good action fights, decent fights on the ESPN platform, but we're still waiting for that big, significant fight of 2020. We haven't really had that, have we? What was the big fight of 2020? It was Wilder Fury. Okay, at pay-per-view. But man, outside of that, there's been some decent fights, early in the year. But we're all waiting, man, for that big time fight to get the juices flowing, man, to get the boxing fans to really start shadow boxing. When you hear Verdejo versus Mandera, I mean, you're like, I'll watch. But when you hear, Shakur Stevenson in a showcase fight, Pedraza, and, that shit doesn't really get you excited. It gives you something to bet on, something to watch. But, man, I want some excitement back into this game. We need some excitement. We need some big fights. This year's been shitty so far. Hasn't panned out as everybody, hasn't been planned out as everybody has hoped. Hopefully, we see, we get a significant big fight announced soon, man. Lomachenko Lopez, please. Ryan Garcia in a big fight. Devin Haney in a significant fight. Canelo fighting a top 68 pounder in the near future. Golovkin in a big fight. Charlo against Derevchenko. Give me some of that, please. And enough of this drag out process, dog. You're the best fighter in the world, but man, just pick a fucking opponent. Shouldn't be that hard. Shouldn't be that difficult. Everybody wants to fight you. They all have a price, I know. They all want to get paid. But all this process, all this, all these articles of name dropping of opponents, and he's most likely going to fight David Lemieux. But, Canelo deserves a showcase fight. He's been fighting top guys pretty much every year for the past 4 or 5 years now. He's fought the guys that people wanted to see him fight. There's other opponents, there's other guys out there, sure. But at the current time, with the landscape, the market, those fights are not going to happen right now. Especially with this situation that's going on right now in boxing. No venues, no crowds, no gate revenue. That's why I see in these type of fights. But, Top Rank did his job. They held it down for a month. They gave us something to watch, something to bet on. Now it's the Zone's turn. They return next week with a Virgil Ortiz card. Eddie Hearn has his fight camp upcoming as well. PBC is going to bounce back in August. So maybe we will see some more exciting showdowns to be announced. Hopefully Canelo's opponent gets announced soon. My hunch is David Lemieux is going to get the fight. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.